This episode of the Sloopcast is brought to you by the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company is an Ohio-based company where they say our seasoning will take your barbecue from good to great. Mad Canadian will be back at the OLC Shrine Cafeteria in Cary, Ohio this Thursday, 4 to 7 o'clock for some of that delicious barbecue and bingo. Again, this Thursday, 4 to 7, OLC Shrine Cafeteria for some Mad Canadian barbecue and bingo. Check out his social media for more information about him and his food truck and where he'll be heading to next on Facebook and Twitter. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, who are the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
This episode of the Sloopcast also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. Who? The Iron Bean Coffee Company is a Ohio-based, Marine veteran-owned coffee company. They are based out of Perrysburg, Ohio, which is just outside of Toledo. Integrity is the core value of what they do, because what else would you expect, Kyle? Kyle? From an Ohio-based veteran Marine-owned company. And the integrity goes in both directions. It goes both back to the farmers, because all of their beans are fair trade certified and USDA organic, but they also that integrity then also reaches out then to you the customers, because all of your beans are fresh roasted, they're hand roasted, they're micro roasted. They do everything they can to ensure that you're getting the best possible product. So they're taking care of people on both sides of the supply chain, because again, integrity is at the core of what they do. So you can find your new favorite coffee over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
How's it going, everybody in YouTube land and in our Discord? It is here. The week has finally come. It is hate week, Jared.
It is. It is, in fact, that. Oh, man. I'm all of a sudden thinking I should have inspected our frame for the YouTube folk. Our frame that sits around us for M's. I hadn't considered that until just
the
now.
only one that I can see is one of our sponsors.
Yeah, I don't want to put an X over any of our sponsor logos anyway.
I think everything else, I think we're good fans here, and we have purposely, Jared, with me here. We purposely tried to reduce any and all of those letters.
Matthew points out we do have a .com.
There is that, yes. All right, almost.
So,
all right,
we have two dot. We have like 4 .coms.
All right, let's get into it, Jared. Let's talk about this weekend's game.
We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
I am pumped. To do today's recording here, Jared. It is hate week. We had a great game that we're about to talk here. But yeah, feeling good to be home in my normal setup here than being on the road here.
And the listeners enjoy having your audio quality not be dog crap again.
Yeah. But how are you, Jared?
I'm not going to complain. Ohio State had a great week on the field. Chaos had his moments too. We'll talk about that on the Tuesday episode. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day to be a Buckeye. It's a good week to be a Buckeye. We'll talk about this in the Thursday episode, but man, I am not buying. I am not buying this Michigan has a chance stuff. Vegas only has Ohio State by like 7 points. The FPI game predictor over at ESPN has Ohio State. I think it's like a 61% chance to win or something like that. Way too small. But anyway, we'll talk about all that on Thursday. So right now we're still looking backwards. We're still looking backwards at Michigan State. So that's what we're doing here. Matt, I mean, it's the best that math can do. Or I mean, I don't know if it's the best that math can do. There might be better, but
it's what we have. It's what we have. But yeah, as Jared said here, this is our standard and grade episode where we review last week's episode, talk about the game, and get about some grades for each position here. So let's start off talking about the big brother, Sparty. Sparty going down to Ohio State 56-7. And you talk about an overall just dominance game here. This was in full display. This was a statement game for Ohio State. It was
for sure.
all the season of both fans and the media just ripping on Ohio State since the Oregon loss all the way through until November, and then it got to wait till Ohio State plays someone. Wait till Ohio State plays someone. Well, you played the number 7 team, whether you agree they should be 7th or not. It was the number 17 here in Michigan State in dominant fashion in all sides of the ball here. It was just, this was the type of game. I don't remember this kind of dominance over a Power 5 team since 2014, Jared, in the Big Ten championship game.
I believe you're forgetting
an equality opponent.
I believe you're forgetting the catastrophic end of the revenge tour. That was a very highly ranked Michigan game or Michigan team that got absolutely dismantled. I mean, I'm just saying you may have missed one.
But on all sides of the ball, Ohio State did let up quite a few points in that one. This is a dominant. You won by pretty much 50 points here.
We'll have to
either way here. Let's get into each position. Let's start with the highs here. Well, every position's a high here, but let's start with the quarter. Let's start with the quarterback here. Spoiler alert. CJ Stroud. 32 for 35. He had more touchdowns than incomplete. He had twice as many touchdowns and incomplete passes in this game. Wow. 432 yards, averaging 12.3. And they weren't just like, they weren't just chip passes.
They were not.
Somewhere, but he had just dime passes this game. 12.3 yards per completion there. That's just crazy good.
Short, intermediate, sideline, middle, didn't matter. He was nailing. Like, there are quarterbacks starting big time college football programs who couldn't have done that against air. Like, we can talk all we want. We can talk all we want about, oh, well, Ohio State, or rather Michigan State was like the worst. And like we said it too on the
We did
Know Your Enemy episode, that, oh, Michigan State has the worst pass defense. Michigan State has the worst pass defense. But like, that's only going by yards. In actuality, if you really look at it, if you look at the more advanced statistics, like Ohio State Michigan State didn't have that bad of a pass defense. This is from Tom Fernelli. I believe he writes for CBS.
Yep.
They keep mentioning it on the broadcast, and I've heard it all week, so I'm going to say it. Michigan State isn't the worst pass defense in the country. It allows the most yards per game, but it ranks 56th in passing efficiency and 35th in yards per attempt. 35th in yards per attempt is not a terrible pass defense. And I'm also not going to say that, oh, guys, this pass defense is really good. Because they obviously they weren't, right? Like, Ohio State definitely has played better in the Penn State, for example, as far as pass defenses go. But also, it's not nearly as bad a pass defense as the broadcast made it sound, and quite frankly, as Kyle and I made it sound on last Thursday's episode. So,
but knowing this Ohio State offense here, Jared, we knew that they were gonna ball out here. And sure they did. And yeah, Gangland said it too. Yeah. And you said it too. Yeah. Their efficiency, it's not bad. It's just because teams, they had to throw the ball. And that's kind of why Ohio State's stats, and especially the passing part of it for a long time, it looked bad because teams had to play catch up. They had to throw the ball against Ohio State to try to get back in it.
All right, Kyle. So let's stop beating around the bush. Kyle,
A plus.
can we give the quarterbacks? Can we give Kyle Stroud anything higher than an A plus?
Unless we're going like S tier.
All right, A
Unless we're doing
plus,
S tier. Yep,
A
A
plus.
plus.
Yeah,
Mhm. All right.
an A plus plus. If we can go higher, we can go higher.
All right. Running backs here. Running backs, 206 yards in the game, 4.8 a pop, 2 touchdowns between all the running backs here. I'd say it's tough for me to gotta be careful with this rating here, just because of what Ohio State wanted to do
Right.
offensively, and that was air it out, and air it out they did. But when they ran it on the ground, I thought they did pretty well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean the
mine went
averages are
mine
there.
my Miley, I can't talk about pork chop. Mayan Williams, 8.8 per carry, 7 per carry for Henderson. Like, they're able to move the ball efficiently, and then with the second stringer, Teague had almost 100 yards and a touchdown. And by the way, I'm glad Coach Day did give him the ball to get that touchdown, and everyone in the stadium agreed too.
The student section audibly gasped when they threw the ball instead
Yes,
of
they
running the
did.
ball that one. There, it was like the
I think
student section actively cheering for Ohio State not to score a touchdown in that moment.
I wondered if that was completed for a touchdown, if the student section would have booed.
I think it's a possibility. I think it's a real possibility. So I mean, Ohio State ran for 100 yards in the first half. That's not bad.
Hmm. Yeah,
Their averages were great. It's just that they didn't need to. They
yeah,
were destroying things. I mean, yeah, they had 100 yards rushing in the first half. They had near 400 yards throwing in the first half. So you know we can't go over the top and give the running backs an A plus here because they didn't earn that. But at the same time, I think they did exactly what was asked of them. So I think they should at least get an A for that.
yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I was thinking an A, not A plus, but I thought an A overall in this game. Wide receivers, same thing with the quarterback. Can we give him anything higher than an A plus for the wide receivers? So like
Insane.
pretty much everything thrown their way, they caught.
All
And some
three,
of them, and some of them too, like, how did they catch that too? Even some of, like, obviously the one Olave catch where he's twisting his body all sorts
yeah,
of ways to try to catch that ball there. Amazing. And even the ones in the end zone where there's no room for error, catches it in such an odd angle over the head, trying to catch it as he's running and barely get in the end zone too. It's amazing. We are spoiled this year with this trio of wide receivers we have, and spoiled will be next year
yeah. I
too
was
with
about to
those
say.
on the sideline.
I'm not going to say it's not going to take a step backwards next year because it will. Because like as great as the young guys are,
Mhm.
Wilson and Olave have experience, and the next crew up don't have experience. But like it's not going to take a huge step backwards next year.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, so in A plus we give them an A plus only because we can't go higher for the wide
Yeah.
receivers.
All right, what about the tight ends here? Tight ends got three three catches for just over 30 yards for the game, but they paved the way for the running backs to run the game too. They did chips to give Stroud enough time to pass some of those long developing routes that the receivers ran, to give them that little bit of chip to get open. I- A minus, something like that. I thought overall the tight ends did what they needed to. They weren't going to see the ball that much just because of how many is that? 24 of those catches went to that trio there. They weren't going to
Right.
see many of those balls coming to them. So A minus is kind of what I'm thinking for the tight ends.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with what you said. Yeah.
Mm. And then the offensive line, uh, I actually did not see. I have to look at the stats here. I think there were a couple sacks. I think in this game.
There were two. I believe, at least on Stroud. Um, they, yeah, there were a couple sacks, but the running backs ran well. Um, Kyle, when it comes down to it, the offense does not go at the type of efficiency it went without
Yeah.
the offense can't do what the offense did without the offensive line playing amazing. I don't
No,
care about the 2
absolutely.
sacks. I don't care
Absolutely.
about
Well, that was going to be my difference between an A and A plus for the offensive line. They played tremendously, tremendously. I don't want to seem like I'm trying to pick out the little things here, but no, offensive line played tremendously here. Yeah, you couldn't expect much more, and especially for how many times Ohio State threw the ball. Stroud 35 times in almost one half. Yeah, I just tremendous, tremendous. I give the offensive line an A. They just
I'll give him an A plus.
all right, fine. You convinced me to A plus.
I don't think I tried very hard.
But yeah, this is it's just amazing. Like I'm trying to just look at the stats here, and the stats don't do justice for
No.
how efficient this team was here. Minus their first drive, where they seemed to take their time. It took them over 4 minutes to get their first touchdown, and then it was a minute 16, minute 24, minute 48, 2.5, just over two, under 4 minutes. They moved the ball so quick, and even a better one, 12 plays, then 4 plays, 4 plays, 6 plays, 6 plays, 6 plays, 10 plays, and that was their entire first half right there, all leading to touchdowns. Just efficient. And I think I saw here only 2 third downs, Jared, in the first half.
Was it
2 for 2 on third downs.
Yeah,
2 for 2 in the third. Yeah, 2 for 2 in the first half.
that's insane in and of itself, right? Like, what was their third down efficiency? 100%. That sounds insane. It's even more insane when you realize they didn't even have to try on third down. You want to talk about being ahead of the chains. You want to talk about being ahead of the chains. But when your quarterback is averaging 12 yards per attempt, not per completion, although that it would mostly be the same for Stroud since he didn't miss, but 12 yards, over 12 yards per attempt is psychotic. If you want a comparison, Peyton Thorne, 4.4. If you want a
Yeah.
comparison, 4.4.
Yeah, 2 for 2, and that Michigan State was 4 for 10. And I think the other great thing about this, and we complained about this with Ohio State, especially if it seemed like it was going to be an issue for it was like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, just penalties. Ohio State was having a lot of issues, just dumb penalties in this game for the entire game. 1 penalty,
Yeah.
all game.
Yeah. And
I
if it was Michigan State's goal to limit Ohio State once they got down into the red zone, if that's what they were trying to do, um, I was a half a second ahead of you, Stuart. Ohio State, how often, Kyle, do we have scoring distances? I don't even feel like they were actually even in the red zone all that much.
Oh, that's actually a good question. So I'm gonna
I know they
quickly
had
look.
a multiple touchdowns from in the red zone, but I feel like they had multiple touchdowns that were from outside
Let's
20
see.
yards out.
So first one, 23-yard touchdown. So
Yeah.
nope. Second one was a 77-yard. No.
No.
Next one, 43-yard. No.
No.
Next one was a 1 yard. So 1 for 1.
Yep.
The next one is a 12-yard, 2 for 2. And then the third one was a 5-yard, 3 for 3 in the red zone.
Yeah. Ruggles' miss in the second half was that inside the red zone? How far
That
out of a kick was that? Does anyone know?
That was at the 21-yard line. So just outside.
Didn't count. Noah Ruggles misses his first kick. Kyle, before we go to commercial, grade that special teams. Ruggles misses. Uh, the punter did he punt once, maybe in the game, maybe
He,
twice
he yeah, he had to in the
in the second half,
once. Did
just
once.
once.
Just once.
Um, it looked, Kyle, it looked like on a couple occasions, like maybe Ohio State was going to break a punt return. Didn't happen.
Yeah, but it didn't.
So
It
where are
did.
you grading the special teams, Kyle?
I mean, I love Noah Ruggles, but y you hurt the average down. It's gotta be a B plus here.
He
I'm
did
giving
good
him a
on kickoffs,
plus.
so we'll keep it a B plus.
Yes.
And he didn't miss any extra
Oh, yeah.
points, of which he had many.
Yeah, the kickoffs did pretty well. Not as great as they used to have been, but Reed Reed back there is a great returner, and Haas State was able to really contain him. But
Right.
yeah, I'd say B plus.
All right, that's
B
good.
plus.
All right, Kyle, let's do some ad reads. I guess I will go first. Kyle, the Iron Bean Coffee Company, I already told you who they are. An Ohio-based Marine, veteran-owned, small batch micro roaster, Toledo area, all that, right? Let's take a look at the coffees. I think I've alluded to the back room a couple times in my past couple ad reads. Um, so let's actually talk about the back room. We have 5 coffees hiding in the back room. These are under the Murder Coffee Company brand, which is, I assume, a sub company or sub branding of the Iron Bean Coffee Company. You have, for example, the Serial Killer, which is a vanilla buttercream coffee. You have the Stay Awake, which is an incredibly caffeinated coffee. Then there is the Bloodbath, which is a red velvet cupcake. Or just a red velvet cake uh, flavored coffee. You have the Turning Blue, which is a blueberry cinnamon crumble, and the Soulless, which is a ginger snap coffee. Those are some, and we have an endorsement from Gangland down in the chat saying that the red velvet is crazy good. I mean, how could you go wrong, right? It's red velvet. Who doesn't love red velvet? But there you go. That's a real life endorsement from one of our Discord folk. So you can check out those coffees. They have a ton more flavored coffees. They have a ton of standard non-flavored coffees that you can try for yourself. You can try all of those over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
This episode is also brought to you by our good friends over at the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. Again, Mad Canadian will be at the OLC Shrine Cafeteria in Cary this Thursday from 4 to 7. Well, let me tell you why you should go down. Here, let's read some reviews here from actual customers. Here's one saying, tried the food here for the first time. Really glad I did. Sliced brisket sandwich is one of the best I've ever had in Ohio. Pulled pork was really good. Can't wait to return and try more of their food. Here's another saying, this is the best food truck around, hands down. Barbecue smoked right there on location, and it was fresh that day. Brisket and pork is never dry and always full of flavors that melt in your mouth. The sides are also made that day and absolutely phenomenal. The owner and crew are top notch and very friendly. Highly recommend giving them a try. To be sure to check them out again this Thursday, 4 to 7. Put away your dinner plans, go get some barbecue, play some bingo at the OSC Shrine Cafeteria. Be sure to hit up his social media for more information about him and his food truck and where he'll be heading to next. Mad Kenny Barbecue Company, who are the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
Okay, Kyle, let's grade this defense. You know, Kyle, I was feeling pretty good about myself because I basically kind of went on a whole thing during the Know Your Enemy show on last Thursdays, essentially saying Ohio State was going to torch Michigan State through the air, and I felt like Ohio State was going to take Michigan State out of the game early. You know, oh, everyone, are you afraid of Kenneth Walker? And I'm like, I don't think he can be in the game plan very long because I think Ohio State's going to go up big fast and they're just going to take him out. So I felt great about all of that, right? Like, just if you do a podcast or if you do anything like that and you put stuff out there on the line, you put your opinion out there, it always feels good when you're right. So I felt very good
It
about
does.
myself in that
All
respect.
right. So
But I have to say, totally underestimated Ohio, either underestimated Ohio State's defense or overestimated the Michigan State offense. I also said on the show last Thursday that, Michigan State was going to definitely, break that 17-point curse that they've had inside the shoe for the last however many years it's been. That Michigan State was for sure going to score more than 20 points, and that this was the best Michigan State offense we've had in the shoe in forever, and all of that. So I also said all that stuff, right? So I had really high expectations for the offense. The defense, I was expecting Michigan State to perform at least somewhat well, and my goodness, the
yeah,
defense was lights out.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you and I both said that Michigan State's going to get their points. They're
Yeah,
going to get some points. They're they were a decent offense, well, more than decent. They're a pretty good offense. They were able to move the ball, and a lot of it because of Kenneth Walker. So we thought, oh yeah, Michigan State will get maybe will get like a three scores, something like that. But 49 to nothing at halftime.
yeah.
You only let up 77 in the air, 39 on the ground at halftime, and you limited Kenneth Walker to only five carries for 24 yards.
Yeah. It was a total
That's the
dismantle.
that's the stat right there. You Ohio State, and really Ohio State's best defense was their offense scoring
Yeah,
so many points. That's
100%.
what it was. That's what it was. And then they forced Peyton Thorne to get them back in the game, and he went 8 for 26 in that first half. So maybe if we're grading here, the defense the defense has to thank the offense for getting it up that much.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yes, no,
And
no, no, absolutely, Stuart. Yeah, I'm not going to take away how awesome defense played because they made the tackles when they need to. Like there was a couple plays when Walker got out and Ohio State was able to tackle them. He was going to we I thought he was going to get his yards, but man, they stopped them when they needed to. I mentioned before they went 4 for 10. Michigan State, that is, on third downs, getting critical stops when they need to and getting that ball back to Ohio State. They were, yeah, it was complete dismantle.
Stuart, he was not belittling the defense by any means. He was simply saying that Ohio State's offense made Michigan State's offense completely one-dimensional. And
Yeah,
did Ohio State's defense completely shut down Kenneth Walker? Yes. But also Michigan State only gave him the ball 6 times. He didn't have an opportunity really even to go, and that's because they were knocked out of the game so early and Michigan State became one-dimensional, and it's a much, much easier defense to defense, a much better offense to defense, um, when they're one-dimensional. But that's
yeah,
still huge props to Ohio State's defense because even in September, Ohio State's defense still couldn't still couldn't stop a team when they were one dimensional because the pass defense was that inept. So huge props to the defense for how far they have come because they've come very, very far.
no, absolutely here. So let's get to it. Let's rate them here. Defensive line, you got to give them an A plus. You shut down their rushing attack here. They totaled 66 yards for the game, and I mentioned like in the first half, 39 yards in that first half, complete just wall. I got to get you got to give the defensive line an A. It's a
Yeah.
complete dominance here.
I would go even A plus. I mean, you consider the pass pressure that we saw. By the way, like the defensive line alone batted down like 4 balls.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh, Matthew beat me
Matthew
to it
Nard.
down in the chat.
Yeah.
Um, you had a ton of pressure from both Tyreek Smith and from Zachary Harrison. I thought that Steele Chambers played a really good job. I thought Haskell Garrett had an exceptional game. Um,
And even later in the game, your two stud freshmen play pretty well too.
excuse me, 3. How dare you disrespect Tyleek Williams?
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, the defensive line was lights out, Kyle. I think we need to bump him up to that A+.
All right, fine. That's fine. Linebackers here. Jared.
Yeah.
Eichenberg had a really good game
did.
here. He
Everyone's
had a
too hard.
very good game.
Everybody is too hard on Eichenberg.
He had probably his best game at Ohio State so far. Like I think this was his most complete game he's had so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And people were really, really hard on him. Why? Because he was a brand new starter. He's a brand new starter who was not playing exceptional in his very first starts. Gee, I wonder if that reminds anyone of how hard they were being on CJ Stroud. Haters of CJ Stroud, please stand up.
Yeah.
Make yourself known. Apologize publicly. I see you, Stuart. Yeah. Apologize publicly. And by the way, anyone who's dumb enough right now to be like, well, Ohio State's going to have a heck of a quarterback battle this offseason, stop it. Stop it. You're revealing yourself.
I'm not even going to blame Eichenberg for him looking bad on that one run. It's just Walker. Walker's just that good of a running back, and he made Eichenberg.
He was already stumbling off of a block, so it's not even like he was sure-footed going into there.
Yeah, but still, great game. Linebackers played excel here. I can't think of anything else lower than A+ for them too. They did exactly what they needed to in this game.
Yeah, Chambers had a great game. If we count Hickman had a great game. I thought Cody Simon played well. I mean, I was thinking more of a straight A in this case, but Kyle, if you want to go A+, that's fine.
All right, corners here. Corners. So you would think here, Jared. Oh, well, they really limited Michigan State to only 66 yards. They got out ahead. Oh, so Ohio State's going to let up a lot of yards in the air. Nope, not the case here. Only 158 total for this game, and had Michigan State under 50% completion for the game.
And they're without Sevyn Banks in this game. Denzel Burke ends up missing some time because he hurt his shoulder. He ended up coming back in the game briefly before then leaving again, just because the game was over. He's already hurt. Why not preserve him a bit, right? But he did it, but he played after he went out. Not much, but he played after he went out. So I'm not too concerned about Burke for this weekend. But no, I thought the cornerbacks played completely lights out. And by the way, like they're playing one of the better wide receivers in the Big Ten. Jalen Reed held him to nothing.
2 receptions, 28 yards. And some of those plays where they somehow made the catch, that's just the type of play that they ran. And if the quarterback saw that they were playing tight man, you throw it back shorter or you throw it behind them right when they're going to make the cut and the ball is right there. You can't ask for any better coverage on a lot of those passes. That's just how the play call ended up. Defense did what they need to. Is just sometimes a better offensive play is just going to outmatch anything you do defensively.
Yeah. Hey, Austin. 1, we're only talking about the cornerbacks right now, not the defensive backs as a whole. And 2, Peyton Thorne, 14 of 36 for 158 yards, 4.4 per attempt. And yes, of course, the defensive line played a huge role in that. Of course they do. The defense plays as a whole. Yes. Well, but also, yes, maybe also one of the reasons why the defensive line played so well is because the defensive backs weren't giving easy outlets to the wide receivers, and they were forcing Peyton Thorne to look to his second read.
Yep.
I thought the corners played extremely well, especially being down 7 banks, especially missing Burke for a portion of the game. Cam Brown had one of his best games as a Buckeye, I think, in this game. I give him an A.
Yeah, I'd give him a solid A here too. I was hoping to see a turnover here or there with
Cam
how
Brown dropped
bad
one.
Peyton
If Cam Brown had held on to that, maybe it's an A+.
still wasn't one. But yeah, they were lockdown corners here at solid A. Safeties here, Jared. Safeties.
I found myself not thinking about the safeties too much, which I think is exactly what you want from the safeties. That's exactly what you want, right? You want to not notice the safeties that much. I thought Court Williams had a really good game, especially, it's probably more so in the second half than in the first half. I give him, and then quite frankly, as we always say, we grade based off of expectations. We have talked, yeah, I said that, didn't I, Gangland? Court Williams mostly played in the second half, but he still played well. So like I said, we always grade based off of expectations, and we have made no secret of the fact that we don't think a lot of the safety group right now, that we have called them the weak link on the team, on the defense at the very least before. So based off of how low our expectations are, I think they earned an A in this game for simply not being noticeable.
Not letting up big plays. What is it here? I'm trying to look at the big
Trey
stats as a
Mosley's
whole here.
one reception, I think, was the one big
Yes,
play.
that was the longest one. Other than that,
It
only had
accounted for
one oth-
pretty much a third of Thorne's yards.
yeah,
Trey
well,
Mosley's
pretty
one play accounted for a third of Thorne's yards.
How many plays did they do?
I believe
Yeah,
so, Matthew. Court Williams had.
So of the 59 plays that
Tommy
Michigan
Eichenberg and Court Williams both had 7 tackles, tied for the most.
Yeah. Of the 59 plays that Michigan State ran, only 2 plays went more than 20 yards. Only 2. And one of those was 21 yards. So
there you go.
Very, very good. Didn't really let anything past them. Yeah. Defensive back or safeties get an A too, just for what Jared said.
Yeah.
We already said special teams gets a B plus because the one missed field goal there lowers that to a B plus. Still, everything else about the special teams did exactly what they needed to in this game.
Coaching.
Coaching.
How can you watch this game and not just hand out another A plus? Like this is all coaching, and this is about the season as a whole. You can't look at this team and not see the growth that the defensive side made. You can't look at the quarterbacks you can't look at the quarterbacks without thinking about Coach Day sticking with CJ Stroud back when everyone else was complaining. And it's the season as a whole. It's the growth that this team has experienced since the loss to Oregon too now. And also just the game plan. Like it's just seeing the weakness in the Michigan State pass defense and not being afraid to exploit it. Not thinking, well, no, we have to establish the run. No, we're just going to throw the ball. We have the best wide receivers in the country. We have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and you can't stop the pass. We are going to dismantle you, and that's okay. And we're going to keep our foot down too.
Yep.
Absolutely. We will score 49 points in the first half, and that's okay.
Yeah. All right. Last thoughts here before we get to some Ask Sloopcast questions here, Jared. Anything last marks here about this Michigan State game?
This is the game that everyone wants.
Yeah, this
That's
is the
it.
game
This is the game that
everyone.
everyone wants to see. This is enjoy it because it's not always like this. You know, they're not going to do this to Michigan next week. Michigan's a better team than this. And yes, I know Michigan State beat me. I know, but enjoy these when they happen. Enjoy the afterglow of it. This does not happen. We expect this to happen every week. It doesn't happen every week. Enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. All right. All right, let's get to some Ask Sloopcast questions here. Jared, Gangland asks us, is it time to start discussing the curse placed on Michigan State by Archie Griffin?
I would argue that the curse was not placed by Archie, but rather was placed by Connor Cook himself. That's my first exception. It's not the curse of Archie. It's the curse of Connor. So that's my first exception. But yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, no, Michigan State is cursed.
Yeah, I mean, it's better. It's better sounding that it came from an a alumni from Ohio State that placed the curse. It just sounds better.
No, I disagree because Archie's a nice guy and I don't think he would do that. Michigan State cursed themselves. Not to mention it phonetically sounds better, the curse of Connor Cook. Come on, that just sounds good, right?
Don't tell that to people who had to try to tackle him saying he's a nice guy.
Well, that's a fair point.
All right, Nomad asks us, I'm just waking up. Did we have a game yesterday?
Yeah, sort of.
With Michigan State, Teton, and not rivals combined.
I do.
Combined for 2-20 against Ohio State in the CFP area. Are we on solid ground as a program?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that Ohio State's on solid ground as a program. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Duncan from the Discord here. ESPN announcers made reference to Ohio State fans not being loud and leaving early multiple times on Saturday. We all remember growing up that you're the only one allowed to say bad things about your family. Since I have to word this as a question, F those guys?
Okay, first and foremost, I don't retain a lot of what the announcers say. But I specifically remember Chris Fowler complimenting Ohio State fans for still being there that late into a blowout. Like I do specifically remember that.
Yeah, two things that come to mind.
So I think you maybe may have misheard Duncan. I specifically remember Fowler like being impressed with how full the stadium still was in like deep into the third quarter, if not the fourth quarter. And they were commenting on the student section really wanting Master Teague to get a touchdown. I thought they were being very complimentary of Ohio State fans. That's my memory of it.
Yes. Yeah. That was two things. One, you said there about the student section wanting Teague. So the student section and a lot of other people still there. And two, after the game, Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker quoted saying about Ohio State, they get up on you and get the crowd into it, and then it's a wrap. The opposing coach said the crowd really got into it.
By the way, Matthew, who may or may not be a student, says some of us may have been waiting to rush the field only to find out it wasn't going to happen. So there is a possible explanation as to why the student section was so full late into the game. That's a possible. That's a possible. That's possible.
And then the last question from Stuart: is our offense our best defense in this game? Yes.
Honestly, because you
made Michigan State one-dimensional in the dimension that they did not want to be. So yes, in this case, yes.
He's not happy with you. And by the way, Stuart, I think that one's my favorite of these slap gifts.
All right. All right, Jared. That is it. That is all we have for today. Why don't you take us out?
Yeah, I want to encourage everyone to come visit our Discord server where we have lots of fun on game day and all the other days. And that's it, Kyle. That's all I feel like doing as far as. Oh, you know what? Go visit our merch store. We're both wearing merch right now. This is what one of my Michigan Hate Week shirts. It says, "When you ride alone, you ride with Harbaugh," which is a reference to an old World War II propaganda shirt about encouraging Americans to save gas by suggesting that if you aren't carpooling, you're aiding Hitler. Yes, I compared Harbaugh to Hitler. Come at me. So yeah, do your part to save Michigan and save gas. That's I guess what I'm trying to say here. Gangland says, well, they both do start with H. You know,
Fair enough.
Yeah, that works for me. So does Hydra. I'll throw that out there. So Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
Basketball news here. Ohio State lost the first game of the season to Xavier, 71-65. And this week there's only one game, and that's Monday as this episode is being released against Seton Hall. Hopefully Ohio State can get back in the winning column before they play their ACC matchup the following Tuesday against the Blue Devils.
There you go. Tonight's ending band, Kyle, will be a Columbus-based band by the name of Snarls. Snarls just released a new album. I'm looking up the name of that album right now. They just released this album, so I'm going to play a new song off of this album. Sorry, I thought I had this open already. The name of this album is called What About Flowers? What About Flowers from the band Snarls. I played one of the songs off of this earlier this month, but this album's coming out, or just came out rather, on November 12th. So I wanted to give them another quick plug. Brand new album out just a little over a week. So with all of that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Snarls.